Actually, we'll start with the question not about yourselves. Present company excluded, who do you guys think, or what do you guys think is funny on TV right now? What makes you laugh?
Present company excluded?
Well, there's not much left.
By network TV, has had a resurgence of...
Just sort of in popularity and critical acclaim. All the comedies nominated for Emmys last year were network shows, which was pretty monumental.
I think honestly, I feel like the comedies on cable sort of paved the way for us to be a little more ambitious with network television. I feel like for me and Ty's show specifically, like shows like The Office, like really paved the way as well for us. But I think that like we kind of took the lead of some of these cable shows that were being kind of more brazen and edgy with their comedy, and thought, well, why can't we do this on maybe a few less F words, and then boom, it's network television.
I'm saying there has to be more.
There has to be more. I'm drawing a line in the sand.
I'm hilarious naked. My naked
Every episode we show up and we're wearing clothes, and that needs to stop today.
Is this a comedy or what?
Helms is like, I've been on...
Opposite question, what's the most disturbing trend on television right now?
It doesn't have to be scripted.
Let's all bite the hand that feeds us, guys.
No, you have to you want to say reality TV, but we need to break it into segments. Like maybe it's like the
performing reality TV?
The children with their mothers on television that happen, like Dance Moms.
That's horrifying.
Yeah. Horrifying.
That's scary.
Love it. Let me be honest with you right now. I love it. I don't want it to be canceled. I don't know why if it's canceled.
Right.
It's horrifying.
Right.
And that's why I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. CNN's pretty horrifying too.
No,
not the fault in CNN. It's just
just means slobber.
That Teen Mom is a difficult watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's tough.
That's a hard one to watch. That
Yeah.
show. Teen Mom.
Anything with the word mom in the title is probably bad news. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a...
Zoe.
What's been the most interesting fan encounter you guys have had? Strangest, most awkward?
We were cornered by Steven Spielberg at a party once, who's like an uber fan of the show, and he sort of watches our show with the director's eye, so he was sort of dissecting it, and like he's, oh, hello.
That's Steven right now?
That's probably Steve. I gotta take this. I'm so sorry. Hey, baby, I gotta go. But no, he's like, you were doing like such French farce here, and like just like really dissecting it, and I don't know, like it was sort of like we were being held hostage by him a little bit. Like we're like, okay, we gotta go. We are sort of like, but it was also, the man who directed E.T., which for me is like that was the movie that changed my life. So, but stuff like that happens, and that's always very strange. But I think anytime anyone famous sort of comes up to us, we're just like, you're kidding us, right? Like this
I had a woman once. Was not because of the show. It was because of this. I did this zombie movie called Dawn of the Dead, a while ago.
In the mall.
In the mall, exactly. And we were shooting our show, and one of the security guards was a huge fan of the show, and she was like, "Hey, I really loved that Dawn of the Dead," and I was like, "Oh, great, thanks a lot." And she was like, "I really love that one scene," and I was like, "Oh, great, what scene was that?" And she goes. Oh! And I was like, I will see you later.
Let's do the scene and you be you. I'll be...
Yeah. I was like, I didn't even know people did this, actually. Is this still a thing? It's an example of like retooling on the run, because it's a little bit of a different show. We're just totally enjoying like the different locations, like being in Florida, and back at the office, but it's been I think it's been impressive.
Let's be honest, he was weighing you down though. Steve was weighing you down.
You know what? Finally. Yeah, I'm so glad. I'm glad you said it, because now the floodgates are open.
We're all thinking it.
That guy.
Did Steve give you any advice?
Do you know, a lot of these shows are good shows that just don't work for some reason, but do you know when you're on a show that isn't working, and do you feel like a sense of doom that any day we're just going to get the word that it's over?
Yeah, I did two before Modern Family that were canceled. One after about 19 episodes, the other after 2. Nothing is worse than coming in every day and like actually really needing to see those numbers and like having the sense of the crew sort of being disappointed about it. When I was doing the class, the numbers, which the class aired on a Monday night, on Tuesday at our table read, when we read the changes from the script, there'd be printed out copies of the prelim numbers, and I was like, "Why are you doing that?" And with like a highlight, it was highlighted, like where it showed you with like an arrow
Like a
and like a sad face.
Like a sad face.
And I was like, "Why am I trending down?" And so it's like, we're gonna take this, and now we're gonna try and create comedy for the week, and it was absolutely horrifying. And then the show I did after that. That actually Max's wife cast me in was one of those shows that was just sort of doomed from the beginning, and it was right after the writer's strike, and I think everyone was sort of desperate for new material on television, and it was one of those things that it was just I think everyone involved just wanted to have it put down, and everyone wanted to move on. So like with the class, I was like I needed it to keep going, and with Do Not Disturb, the class was great. I'm kind of glad that it was canceled because I can't imagine not being on Modern Family. But with Do Not Disturb, nothing's worse than like also feeling like you need it to end, and it just keeps like take it out to pasture at some point. Please, God, please. But you always feel really bad for the crew because everyone just really needs that work. So. It's a horrible feeling when something's not working.
Telling writers in advance, someone tells someone, it ends up on a blog, it ends up on their Twitter, and then it's not perceived as being controlled, so they just do it.
So it's better to just arrive to work and see them painting over your name. Gotcha.
Canceled.
Okay.
Touche. Well played.
Well played, my friend. Deployed.
Message received. And I'll get you back. No way. I have no power.
I have no recourse. Thank you.
Well played.
Well played.
Well played. I have no power.
Checkmated. I'm not going to tell you my response.
Because I have no vehicle for it.
Okay, great. Or they're like, can you take a picture? And then they hand you the camera.
And you're like, sure.
Totally happened. Like, you bet, no problem.
In New York, this girl ran across the street, and I was walking in Greenwich Village, and she goes, "Would you please take a picture?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And I did one of these, and she's like, "No, me in front of this." And it was a Sex and the City brownstone. And I just took a photo of her in front of the brownstone. And she's like, "Who are you?" And she was like angry at me. I was humiliated.
One of my digital I don't have a ton of space, dude. Delete.
Eric Sternstream, when he did the roundtable, I think it was last year, he talked about the added element of gay people coming up to him and saying how much the show means to them. But he also said that there was some negative feedback that he would get. Do you get the same? Do you get the negative feedback from people about the characters?
The negative feedback I get personally from me is people like, "You need to be nicer to him." Okay. And I was like, "Well, I'll pass that on to the people who tell me what to say." I get very defensive, but I think I honestly don't hear a lot of the negative. I feel like maybe there was a point at the beginning where some people were worried that. Cam's character in particular was maybe a little too flamboyant, campy, and my argument to that was like, we're representing a specific gay couple. It's not representing every gay couple in the world, but this is two very different men who we're representing, and let's be happy with what we got here, and another show will tackle the other ones. So I do feel a little defensive when people come to me with that criticism, but. We do get a lot of 99% of it's really positive feedback from kids who, are able to come out to their parents because they sort of have a pop culture touchstone to point to. Their families enjoy Modern Family together, and so they feel like it's safe because they could say, well, I'm just like Cameron Mitchell, that's an equal part of this equal part of this family. They're an equal third. They're not the big joke of the family. So I think that is what we get mostly. And at the same time, we hate to think that people are looking at we talk a lot about that importance and what that means to us and sort of the social ramifications of our show. But at the same time, we're just making a comedy, and I don't want to ever sound like we're being really lofty with it. We're not changing the world. I mean, I think a lot of people's minds are being changed, but that's certainly not the objective.
Yeah.
You know? Yes.
I Google each of your annual salaries.
My mom always sends me the positive, though.
Yeah. You're so lucky. Oh my God, my mother. She tells me everything that's going on, and I honestly was like, I don't want to know. Don't tell me.
And give us an example of what she'll say.
Well, she'll be like, well, I can't believe that article said something so, like, she'll tell me negative things that are being said about me. I just don't agree with that. And she thinks that basically like I have absorbed everything in the world that's happened to me or being said about me, and she wants to alleviate that pain. And so she'll tell me what it is first, which I haven't heard, of course, and then be like, and that's just not true. And now at that point, I'm a puddle on the floor because I'm so upset.
Which is it's a Google game show where it's like a page on Modern Family, and you read it. It's like it's all pretty positive. Do you want more? Return. It's all pretty positive. Do you want more? And then it's like one guy who's like, it's the shittiest show that ever existed, and you lose everything.
Yeah, right.
Because there's no balance. It's all gone.
That has more value than the 62 greats. Yeah.
65
What do you mean I didn't nail that moment? I thought I was there. I felt there.
Yeah.
I'm so safe.
You are
terribly
not.
safe. Yeah. In theater, I felt like I was a lot more brazen and bold, but I don't know. Maybe it's character specifically. I think it's sort of hard to. I always jump at the opportunity for any physical comedy. Ty and I actually got to work together. We don't get too many scenes together, but we had a really fun scene in an elevator, and we. I think I was desperate for physical comedy, and Ty was like, "Do it, just do it." So like that was enough for me to.
That's also like one of those days when which isn't every day as an actor when you get to go home and actually feel like you worked.
Yeah.
When you're doing something physical all day, it feels good. You're like.
I needed a Band-Aid after one of our takes.
Yeah.
What did you guys do?
It's you haven't seen it yet. It's this really great scene in an elevator. There are those moments when you're doing stuff like that. Like, I always get the giggles on our show because, like, I realize, like, what a ridiculous job this is. Like, we're memorizing words that other people wrote for us, wearing strange clothes, and, like, at times wearing fake hair. And, like, when you're putting the dog treats in your crotch, I think I would have gotten the giggles and be like, this is... My job's so dumb.
Yeah. I have to say, though, that Jesse is awesome because most people you get, like, if you're going to break in a scene, it's because something weird, like, happened and surprised you and cracks you up. Jesse, you can tell Jesse starts cracking up at the absurdity. Like, we just, at the beginning of the scene, there's nothing funny happening, and Jesse starts just laughing. Just like, can you believe this? This is the craziest. Look at this. Yeah. These are mine.
No, but I think something I hear a lot, and I think it's such important advice, is to just really enjoy where we're at right now, because I think that you always are looking for, like, the next thing, like, what's the next job going to be, and I have learned to just relax and enjoy what's happening right now and really take it in, because for Ty and I specifically, with just sharing the same job as him, we've never been on a show like this, and we're just trying to embrace that and live in the moment with it and enjoy what's happening, because we were very lucky the last few seasons with Emmy Awards and all these things, but like we're not expecting that again this year, and it's like, or next year, and like we try and like every moment just accept it as like this is a once in a lifetime thing. If it happens again, that's great.
It's crazy to even have a job. Like it's crazy to have a steady job. I mean, isn't it?